All right, so you're going to write multi-step equations on top of your paper. You should have already done that if you're in here. Otherwise, you pause the video. This is a multi-step equation. Technically, a two-step is a multi-step. But usually when we talk about multi-steps, in this class at least, we mean if it has more than two. We go one step, two step, and then anything more than two, we just call it multi-step. So this is a very small multi-step. They get much bigger, they get much harder. This is just the beginnings. So let's go through one of these. We're going to do it a lot like we've done before. I'm going to draw this line just like before at the equal sign. So go ahead and do that. Does anyone notice the difference between this and what we've been doing with the normal two-step?
Yes.
Danny Mae?
There's two variables.
Yeah, there's two terms with a y. So really what we're going to do is we're going to make this into a two-step equation. You don't do anything until this is two-step. And then you start doing, well, you do something, but you don't do the equation stuff. So here's what I mean by that. Here's a 5y. Are there any like terms?
Yes, negative 3y.
Good, I'm glad you said negative 3y, Caden. What's a 5y plus a negative 3y?
Negative 8y.
No.
A positive 8y.
But, and if you need to, go into calculator, do 5 plus negative 3. What do you get?
Positive 2y.
Positive 2. And then I'm going to copy down the plus 10 and equals 20. Any questions so far?
No.
Now, what kind of equation do we have left?
Two-step.
Yeah, we have a two-step. 2y plus 10 equals 20. So we made our multi-step, our three-step, into a two-step. So now we'll do just like we normally do two steps. Let's box this in. What's on this side but not in the box?
Plus 10.
Plus 10. How can I get rid of that plus 10?
Subtract 10.
But to balance my equation, I have to
Subtract 20
from the other side. So let's bring down our 2y. 20 plus negative 10, or 20 minus 10 is? 10. Questions so far? And what's the inverse of 2 times y?
Division.
Divided by 2. Yep.
So y equals 5.
Y equals 5. So that's our first multi-step equation. Any questions about that one? So I found these 3 other problems online. One good thing to do here would be to pause the video, try them on your own based on what we just did, and then restart the video to check and see if you did it right. So I pause it here. So now you can check. Let's see how we did on this. Let's draw our line just like before. Now, once again, look, we have a negative 2 and a positive 3. Now, we don't want that. So let's go ahead and put our like terms together. That's the point of today. You're combining your like terms before you start working the equation. What's, yes?
Why would you combine negative and positive?
Because they both are constants. Neither one of them has a variable, so you can put them together.
Oh,
Good question. You just can't put the a with them because none of them have an a. Very good question. What's negative 2 plus 3? 1. So a equals 1. And we're going to bring down this negative 2. Any questions? Sorry, not a equals 1. A plus 1 equals negative 2. Any questions?
Nope.
Now, what's cool about this is, what kind of equation is this at this point?
One step.
Yeah, one step. There's nothing with the a. All we have to do is deal with this 1. So how do I deal with plus 1?
Subtract 1.
So I'm going to subtract 1 from each side.
So,
So, and I'll tell you right now what most people are going to do here if they're going to mess up. They're going to do negative 2 minus 1 and put like 1. But what's negative 2 plus negative 1? No.
3. Negative
Same
3.
sign, add and keep, so negative 3. And we're done with that one. Any questions about that one? If you look at this one, how many numbers are here? Just 2, right? So it looks like a normal two-step. What's different?
That's a variable.
Yeah, we both have an m, so let's put our m's together before we do anything else. Makes it easier on us. 8m plus 13m is 21m, I heard.
Oh.
Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
I like to put that 21m first, so I'm going to go ahead and do that at this point. Questions so far? What's the inverse of times 21? Excellent. So we're going to divide both sides by 21. M equals And we're done. Any questions?
What happened to the 42? Oh, wait, we added. Never mind.
And then we divided that 42 by 21. All right, so on this one, there are two ways to do it. What's one way?
The distribute.
We could just use the distributed property, or we could divide by -5. I'm going to go ahead and distribute. You could do it either way. What's negative times 6? -5 times 6.
30.
So we have negative 30 in, -5 times 6. And all I did was I switched it to put my variables first because I think that's a little better. Now we box this in. What's on the same side but not in the box? So how do I get rid of minus 30?
Addition.
So we bring down our negative 30 in. And then 30 plus 30 is? 60. Any questions? All right, what's the inverse here?
Addition. No, division.
Division. And when we divide by a negative 30. So we have n equals -2. And then we're done. Any questions? All right, so pause the video, copy this onto your paper. Stop letting fractions intimidate you. Some people see this like, oh, I can't do this. It's just a fraction. We're letting you use calculators a lot, so we're going to use a calculator to do this. You can do that. Even if you didn't have a calculator, you could do this. It's not that scary. We're going to keep working both ways. When we get good at both, we'll do it less more without a calculator to practice it. But you do it just like we did before. Are there any other terms with an x on this side of the equal sign?
Yes.
What?
Positive.
Positive 5x. And what's really easy about addition is you just add your whole numbers. What's 5 plus 2?
7.
7.5, then x. You see what I did? 5, 7.5. So the way I do it doesn't change. Don't let these fractions intimidate you. We do it the same way. Box in the variable, anything touching it. What's on this side but not in the box?
Plus 4.
Good, so we subtract 4 to do the inverse. We have what left on this side? 7.5. X. 8 minus 4 is? 4. Excellent. And what's the inverse of times 7.5?
Division.
Division. So we're going to divide both sides by 7.5. So go ahead, if you want to, go ahead and put 4 divided by 7.5 and tell me what you get. Yeah. Let's look and see. Anyone got it? It's almost 1/2, not quite. It is. You should get, if you punch it in right, you should get 8/15. 8/15, I believe. All right. 8/15. If you're doing it manually, you do 4/1 divided by 15/2. Make them an improper. And then multiply by the reciprocal. But if you do it on the calculator, 8/15, you get the same thing both ways. Any questions?